Brazil mourns, and I dare to say the entire world mourns, the death of Pele at age 82 as Christ the Redeemer and the Maracana Stadium are lit up in the colors of the nation's flag and fans sob outside Santos Stadium. Edison Arantes dos Nascimento, known monumentally as Pele, was a Brazilian professional footballer who played as a forward. Regarded as one of the greatest players of all time and labeled the greatest by FIFA, he was among the most successful and popular sport figures of the 20th century. Chinedu Ohanusi, a sport journalist, will be talking to us about Pele's legacy. Good morning, Chinedu.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you join us this morning.
Well, what do I say?
Yeah.
But the world is mourning.
Absolutely. What a fitting
world of football.
Yes. What a fitting way to couch that. The world is mourning, and the exit. But it appears we have been prepared for this moment. In the last couple of weeks, we have seen stories of how his cancer situation went from bad to worst, and how he was moved to end of life facility. And just about 72 hours ago, we saw him bidding goodbyes to family members on his dying bed. What does this news mean to the world and to people like you who have invested your time and energy reporting this sector?
First of all, I would say that it is a monumental loss. This is a guy, through his work of artistry, graciously, fixatedly, held a lot of fans, his own teammates, and even opposing players spellbound, fixated on football. He made football something else. The only player on earth to have won the World Cup on 3 different occasions, 1952, 56, and 1970. So it is not mind-boggling that the Brazilian government have declared a 7-day mourning for him already. And world leaders, including President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, have been calling sports icons all over the world. And I must say, like you did say in the intro, it is a little bit not of a big shock to us again, because the processes towards his passing were well documented and vividly given out. I hope people learn lessons from that. It is unlike the one we had when Diego Armando Maradona died suddenly. That's another soccer great. I must say, may Pele so rest in peace.
So, Chinedu, as a sports enthusiast, I know you've followed Pele's life through. What kind of a man would you say Pele is, or was, I would say?
Well, he came in the dark ages. Before him, there was nobody like that. And football was not even well on television. But somehow his coming coincided with the coming of electricity. I understand the name Edison has to do with the inventor of electricity.
Thomas Edison.
So the father decided to give him that name, but eventually later the I in the Edison was removed, so it's now left with Edson, Arantes do Nascimento. I would also like to put it here that he played with a lot of stars in Brazil. This, call it Zagallo, call it Carlos Alberto Pereira, just name them. Even in twilight of his career, great men like Zico were there to see him off the Brazilian national team, which is also, a FIFA, which is also a FIFA brand. I mean, talking about the leading winners of the World Cup. So for Pele, he came, he saw, he conquered. He was in Nigeria during the Civil War. I understood that when he came in 1970, 2 days of truce was called within the Biafra separatist fighters and the Nigerian government to make sure that Pele came to Nigeria, and that brought some respite. Imagine during a heavy war like that, and you have 2 days of respite. The team was also back in Nigeria again in 1972. This time it was Sam Ogbemudia who invited him and his team called Santos, paid them $6,000 as at then, and they came to play a friendly match at the now Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, formerly Obe Stadium, Benin City. So to tell you, Pele has always been willing to go to where he can make peace, talk peace. It's a humanitarian type of life. He lived his life in phases. At the time, he became the sports minister of Brazil. And at the time, he also helped Brazil immensely in winning the hosting right for the Olympics for Rio Olympics in 2016. I must also tell you that, like you did say, even though Maradona was voted as the greatest player, FIFA insisted on giving Pele his own award by giving that award to Pele and giving Maradona another award. Unfortunately or coincidentally, Maradona, being Maradona, decided to leave the hall before the award of Pele went to him. So these are two guys that painted the world of football, held us spellbound. I believe they will be playing in heaven as well.
You know, a lot of things were significant about him, but what would you say, you know, was particularly significant for you? Was it the fact that he was a black-skinned player, or his modesty, or just about his footballing career? What was it that struck you more? What do you think was it about him that, you know, that took the world by storm? Was it just about the fact that he was one of the finest we have seen, or the fact that he was a black-skinned player, you know, brought even more glamour to him?
Obviously, not color. But then you can't take that away from who he is, because that is his identity. Now, when we go forward, I call him the truest sports person. His athleticism is second to none. He can score with the left, score with the right, score with the head, and his movement on the pitch is something else. And I want to also say that he's a good family man, very good family man. Even until the point of his death, he never had, we never heard of scandals, all these kind of issues that are associated with stars. No drugs, no alcohol problem. Though at the time, because of the cancer treatment, we understood he was also depressed. He suffered some sort of depression. But whatever it is, Pele was an icon that the Brazilian government, successive Brazilian governments, discovered that yes, he is, and decided to make sure that he got even the best until his death. So we can see that Pele died of natural causes, not just because he fought cancer. There were other ailments as well, but the type of care the whole of Brazil as a nation gave to him, and how Maracana is decorated at about now, tells a big story. I tell you, Pele will continue to live in the heart of many, will continue to live in various football pitches, arenas, in FIFA, in UEFA, in the CBA, that is the Confederation of Brazilian Football. Most of these places, Pele will continue to live there for a long time to come.
Interesting perspective there from Chinedu Mohanusi, a sport journalist who has brought us various perspectives into the life of the legendary Pele. Chinedu, I'm afraid because of time, this is the much we are able to take now. Perhaps we will find other times to look at what lessons are there, even for our own national team players, for our own sport personalities, to imbibe from the exemplary life of the famous Pele. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a wonderful Friday.
My pleasure.
Thank you.